Good morning, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Ranking the Albums. Today we're going to take a look at the amazing discography of a fairly obscure band. I'm sure there's going to be quite a few folks here who have never heard of this band, but stick with me because their music is absolutely incredible. I can't believe I've taken this long to do a ranking of their albums, right? There's only 3 of them. I'm talking about Dutch band Finch. Finch like the bird, F-I-N-C-H, okay? They've only got 3 albums. They were around back in the mid-late 70s, released 3 studio albums, bloop, gone. But what a glorious 3 albums it is. Okay, so basically, they did have some lineup changes by the time they made their 3rd album, but the classic lineup of the band is considered Joop van Nimwegen, I hope I'm saying that right, Joop van Nimwegen, on guitars, an incredible player. Peter Vink on bass and bass pedals, Rickenbacker bass. Clem Detter Magier, I hope I'm saying his name right, on all sorts of different keyboards, organ, mellotron, electric piano, grand piano, ARP synthesizer, so on and so forth. And Beer Klassie on drums. That is the classic lineup of the band. So 3 albums. I will say none of these albums even have a weak song. This is fantastic stuff. All instrumental. All right? If you like your music without vocals from this time period, it's basically classic 70s prog with plenty of fusion. Okay? Guitars and Hammond organ and synths and mellotron and really upfront Rickenbacker bass lines, nimble drums, complex stuff, atmospheric at times. I mean, absolutely incredible music here. So let's get started here. So again, as I mentioned, only 3 albums. We're going to go for, coming in at number 3 is going to be their 3rd album, Galleons of Passion. Okay, pretty cool cover art on these as well. I've had these, as you can see, even the white of the jewel cases has yellowed over the years. That's how long I've had these. I've had these easily 30 years or so, or close to it. So here, like I said, their last studio album. Got some lineup changes in the band, so that lineup that I mentioned to you earlier, a couple changes there. But it's also their most straight-ahead symphonic prog album, whereas the other 2 albums have plenty of jazz rock and jazz fusion to go along with the prog. This is mostly that symphonic prog kind of style. Very, very melodic, though. So you've got Unspoken is the word, kind of kicks things off, and these guys love putting together long, really long in some cases, songs, okay, instrumental songs. Unspoken is the word is very melodic, kicks off the album, nearly 8 minutes long. Then you've got the really kind of groovy Remember the Future, or Remembering the Future, I should say, which is a pretty shorter song. We got 2 like 4 minutes and change songs on here. That's not something the band really did much of all. But Remembering the Future, a lot of grooves, right? It's really, really cool, catchy kind of stuff. Then you've got lots of tasty guitar riffing and soloing on As One. From there, you got the 3-part epic With Love as the motive. Okay, which is about 9 minutes and change, 3 parts to that, Impulse, Reaching, and Sinful Delight. Fantastic synthesizer and guitar solos in this particular one. And then you've got the closer, which is called Reconciling, which is 8 minutes and change. That is the one song on this album that kind of reminds me of the first 2 albums. Very fusiony, majestic keyboards and synths. A really fantastic album. And, if you're going to go out in style, go out with something like this. Really, really strong album. Like I said, none of these albums are weak at all. And I will say, and I'll probably mention it more than a few times, Joop van Nimwegen is one of the unsung guitarists on the Dutch scene. Man, is this guy good. So, so good. All right, so my number 1 and 2, man, I kept going back and forth on this. At the last minute, I decided to kind of switch them around. But I'm going to go with Glory of the Inner Force, their debut from 1975. At number 2, man, what a great debut. Holy moly. Ask me tomorrow and I put this in at number 1. That's how good the first 2 albums are. Register Magister kicks things off, 9 minutes and change. Absolutely smoking track. Kind of like if you can picture Yes from those first 3 albums, even like the Peter Banks era, moving into the Yes album with Steve Howe. Basically like Yes without vocals. Big fat Rickenbacker bass, the looping organ and guitar lines, complex drumming. Fantastic. From there, you got Paradoxical Moods, another lengthy track just under 11 minutes long. Sizzling organ solo. Lovely bass and guitar lines. Again, it's all very complex. Think of, like I mentioned, yes, maybe the little Mahavishnu Orchestra, Return to Forever, Tony Melone's Lifetime, that sort of thing. You got Pisces. Again, mixes that instrumental yes style. Goes from frantic to atmospheric in the blink of an eye. Great guitar solo in that one. You've got the lengthy A Bridge to Alice, which again has some amazing organ and guitar solos. And then as bonus tracks, I don't know if they released these as singles or whether they were just left over from the sessions. You got Colossus Part 1 and 2. It's roughly 7 minutes long between the two. Much more guitar oriented, kind of like hints at what's to come on the second album. But man, brilliant album of instrumental prog and fusion. Just absolutely spectacular. And again, only really bested, at least for me today anyway, Beyond Expression, their second album from 1976. Kind of like what you get on here is you get Yes meets Focus meets ELP. All right, 3 tracks. The Epic of Passion condensed kicks things off, 20 minutes long. Glorious, glorious song. Some monstrous guitar solos and organ solos on this one. Then you've got Scars on the Edge, which is the shortest track at just under 9. Here we see the ARP synthesizer making the first appearance with the band. No synth on the first album. Alongside some big crunchy riffing and a little bit of piano. There's definitely more of like a harder rock guitar sound on this album. And then you got the 14-plus change minute closer, Beyond the Bizarre, which is big, symphonic, atmospheric prog. You got some really complex passages going between the guitars and the synths. Just an absolutely smoking album. Mandatory listening. I mean, I would say if you can get these, honestly, like I said, I've had these for so long, I don't even know if these are still in print or you can get them. I would say whatever the cost, go out and get all 3 of them. Just do it right off the bat. I wouldn't say, well, which one should I get first? If you can get all 3, just do it. These are amazing albums. Again, you got to like instrumental stuff. If you like instrumental progressive rock from the 70s mixed with a ton of fusion, if you like some of the bands I mentioned, I definitely think you'll dig this. Just think of Yes meets Focus meets ELP meets Return to Forever meets Lifetime meets Mahavishnu, all kind of rolled into a blender. Boop, there you go. Right? Fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff. Let me see if I can get you any better picture of the guys in the band. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got here. There they are. That's the classic lineup of the band. Very cool stuff there. And let me check the first album too while I'm at it. Glory of the Interforce. There's Mr. Jupe. What a guitar player, man. Oof. What a guitar player. I'm telling you guys. So there you have it. Finch. 3 albums, Beyond Expression, Glory of the Interforce, and Galleons of Passion. Go check them out. You will not regret it. All the albums are available to stream and listen to here on YouTube. So if you want to go give it a listen first before you dive in and make a purchase, that's easily the way to go, right? Make sure you visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. Coming up also, actually, we're going to do it tonight. So I normally do the Dream set list first thing in the morning. Well, because I've got a special guest on tonight's show, and he's not available till tonight. That's happening tonight. So join Rich Gattino and I for a Dream set list program on Whitesnake. That's coming up tonight, as well as Hudson Valley Squares coming up later on tonight, so stay tuned for that as well. And a lot more happening this week. We got In the Prog Seat coming up tomorrow, where we will be, the 4 of us, will be ranking the Jean-Luc Ponty catalog. Well, we're going to be ranking it. We're going to give you our 10, we're going to rank our 10 favorite Jean-Luc Ponty albums. So that's coming up tomorrow on In the Prog Seat. We had a couple questions like, Pete, you haven't done a lot of ranking the album shows lately. Well, because we had a ton of other stuff going on. But we will be doing this. I have a bunch in the pipeline over the course of the next few weeks, so just kind of stay tuned. They'll be popping up here and there. It won't be like the regular thing, but you'll get 1 or 2 a week probably going forwards, because there's a lot happening. So stay tuned, all right? Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Give us a like. If you want to donate, please click on the Ko-Fi link in the video description below. All your donations are greatly appreciated to help keep the channel going. Let that 30-second ad play at the beginning of the video. That also helps us a little bit, bringing some extra money in. So thanks again, everybody, and we'll see you later on. Bye-bye.